What if I told you an anime movie just outsold Idris Elba's latest film where he fights a lion, a literal lion in Africa? Would you believe me? You probably wouldn't. Well, welcome to 2022 and welcome to Dynamic Entry, where today I'll be reviewing the new Dragon Ball movie, Dragon Ball Super, Superhero. Okay, so Dragon Ball Super, Superhero is the latest installment of the Dragon Ball franchise, and it's been about 4 years since we got the last installment, which was Dragon Ball Super Broly, and since we had a real full-fledged series, Dragon Ball Super, I think it's been about 6 years, so safe to say it's been a while since we've gotten any sort of Dragon Ball representation that isn't video games or fan-made films, like that super sick one that just dropped a few weeks ago. So, Superhero takes place, I would say, probably about maybe a year or so since the last Broly film. So Broly's been introduced, Vegeta and Goku are training him, and that is where we're at currently. And before I go any further, I guess I'll let you guys know now, this is going to contain spoilers, so if you haven't seen it already, don't watch this unless you want to be spoiled. I don't care, that's your choice. It is a movie all about Piccolo and Gohan, two of the series' favorite characters. If you do like Gohan or Piccolo, you've been pretty disappointed lately within the series. There's been some moments in Dragon Ball Super where you get little flashes of, hey, maybe these characters are still as strong as I remember. Especially Gohan. If you're a big Gohan fan, I'm not, but I have friends who really enjoy him, have been kind of like real tired of what we've gotten lately. We just got studious Gohan. We haven't gotten any of like the badass teenage Gohan, kid Gohan era where everyone's like, wow, he is the strongest person alive. No one can beat him. So the main plot of the movie is basically the Red Ribbon Army. Yes, the same one from Dragon Ball is being brought back. It's being resurrected by Magenta, who I believe is the son of Red, who started the original Red Ribbon Army. He's going to enlist the help of Dr. Hedo, who is the great-grandson of Dr. Gero, who made the androids. And same thing here with Dr. Hedo. He also fancies himself some androids. Team iPhone for me, but for him, androids all the way. Dr. Hedo is a 24-year-old man who is about probably 3 feet tall, and he's obsessed with superheroes, hence the title Dragon Ball Super, Superhero. His whole thing is he wants to create the perfect androids that can save people and be superheroes because he's like in love with it. He has a little costume he dresses up as. He goes to Comic-Con, gets autographs from all these superheroes. He's really about it. So that's his whole motivation, is that he just wants to create the perfect android that can save the world. And to do that, he needs money, and to do that, he gets the money from Magenta, who is gonna fund him because Magenta has a lot of money. And that is his main focus. So he makes these 2 androids, Gamma 1 and Gamma 2. These are the most amazing characters Dragon Ball's had in a while. So Magenta tells Hedo, or I guess kind of brainwashes him, and says, hey, look, you know Bulma of Capsule Corp? Her and her little family that she has going on around there, Goku, Vegeta, Piccolo, Gohan, all of them, the Z Fighters basically, they're all aliens. And I guess he's kind of right about that. They are aliens, and they are going to take over the world, basically. So you need to stop them. You need to be the superhero that we need to stop them. So that's enough motivation for Hedo, because he's already into the whole superhero situation, that he wants to help willingly. He doesn't care. He knows it's kind of shady, but he's like, also, these aliens, they need to go. So that's what he tells Gamma 1 and Gamma 2 to have them be more down for the cause, basically. Vegeta and Goku are off planet training Broly, and so that's a good way to kind of like get them out of the picture. Like, we know that if they were there, they would just solo, basically. It's no problem for them. So that's where it leaves Piccolo and Gohan to kind of be the ones. And I enjoyed the fact that they put Piccolo in the main driver's seat. It's cool to just put Gohan there. It's like, yeah, whatever, but they actually fleshed out Piccolo a little bit more. He's training Pan. We got our first appearance of Pan in the Super Series that I know of. I think she was a baby actually at one point. Not quite sure on that. So he's training Pan much like he trains Gohan, and he's becoming the father figure to her that, you know, he kind of became to Gohan, while Gohan is off studying and then doing his own thing. Piccolo's like, oh, here we go again. Gotta be the father that steps up. I'm not the stepfather, I'm the father that stepped up. That's him. That's Piccolo's entire motivation. So he's the first one to make contact with these androids. Gamma 2 actually goes and fights Piccolo and sees to kind of see like where his strength's at as an android, like how strong he is. It ends up in a big old like explosion, and Gamma 2 thinks he kills him, so Piccolo hides and he's like, oh damn, that guy's pretty strong. Let me go follow him. So then it becomes a spy movie starring Piccolo, which is really cool because who would have thought to put Piccolo in a situation where he's a spy? He's in disguise, he's doing little funny things. The comedy in this movie I think really worked for me. Dragon Ball's always had funny moments in it. There's parts that make me laugh, but I feel like the movie, the writers really stepped up their game with this and made it a lot more funny. There's just so many situations where you're like, this is ridiculous. Piccolo is in a Red Ribbon Army uniform and people are like, hey, why are you so green? It's like, oh, that's pretty funny. Most of the jokes for me landed. I enjoyed most of them. None of them kind of made me go, oh, okay, come on. Like, you know, when you're watching, like, another joke is Marvel films. When you're watching Marvel films and they have those jokes where you're kind of like, oh, come on, really, you're doing that? No, Dragon Ball, this movie definitely did not have any of those moments for me. I enjoyed most of them. They were tasteful and good for me. So yes, Piccolo invades, he finds out the big plan, yada yada. He's like, okay, so I know what their plan is. They want to kidnap Pan to get Gohan to come over, and then they're gonna fight and they're gonna work their way up the ladder basically of the Z fighters and take them out. So Piccolo in disguise is like, hey, let's let this happen. Maybe this will wake up Gohan, because Gohan hasn't trained in forever and he's been on his ass like, hey, you need to, you know, hone your skills. You can be the strongest in the universe if you wanted to, but you just refused. You just want to study, which is cool, but also I want you to fight. He lets the plan go. He actually takes part in the plan. He helps kidnap Pan and tells her, hey, listen. Oh, side note though, Pan and Piccolo's relationship in this movie is, it's so cute. It's the most adorable thing ever. Usually when I have like, or when there's usually like a little kid in the story, they always kind of make him annoying. But no, Pan was actually really funny. She was cute, adorable, worked for me. So he helps out. He tells Pan, hey Pan, I'm gonna pretend to kidnap you. We're gonna get your dad to come and help because I want to see him go off basically. So she takes part of it. They kidnap Pan and they go show Gohan, hey look, we got your daughter. Gohan gets pissed off. Go Super Saiyan. And probably my favorite joke in the movie is that Gohan is going like Super Saiyan. He's all pissed off. He's like, why'd you take my daughter? And the other guy that Piccolo is assigned to go kidnap Pan with is in front of Gohan like, oh shit, okay, I didn't mean it, whatever. And in the background, Piccolo's like, yes, Gohan's back. He even looks at the crowd like breaking the fourth wall. That was probably my favorite joke in the movie. So they bring Gohan back to the base, and this is where they have the meeting finally. Gohan jumps out the plane. He's like, all right, who the fuck took my daughter? What's going on? That's when Hedo was like, hey, this is your chance. Gamma 1, Gamma 2, go out there, whoop his ass, and we'll move on the ladder. We'll go up to the next opponent. So the fight begins. They're fighting. Gohan going ham, beating up Gamma 1. It's working. Kind of not working, but we get to see some cool moments during this fight. The fight starts off with just all raining, pouring. For me, the animation in this movie, it takes like a few minutes to get used to, because when you first see it, you're like, oh, it's 3D, and a lot of times when they do 3D animated, like anime type movies and shows, I'm like, oh, this looks really bad. But watching it, you get used to it. And I think actually by the end of it, I kind of was like, you know what? I think I prefer this kind of. I don't. But during the time that it happens, I was like, oh, this is actually really nice. I did thoroughly enjoy it, surprisingly. I didn't think I would, but I did. So it's raining, and then there's a cool scene where Gohan goes mystic, and when he does, the rain just stops. The whole bubble just goes whoop and goes sunny, and I'm like, oh, a beautiful scene, beautiful image. And yeah, the animation, I can see, I don't know if it was cheaper or not, but I can see that if it was cheaper, that it'd be cool to just do more scenes like this where they cut to 3D and they just do big shots like that where it's like, oh, whoa, that was really sick. Because I know hand drawing takes a lot of work, but yeah, that one scene of him going mystic, I was like, oh shit, in the theater, everyone's like, oh, like, it's time. It's time for him to go ham. So he starts beating up Gamma 1, whatever. Gamma 2 tries to jump in. Piccolo takes care of him. They start fighting. So the whole thing around this movie, going into it, it came out in Japan a few months ago. I don't know why they didn't do a simul release, but it came out in Japan. I think Broly was a simul release. Anyway, came out in Japan, so we pretty much had a little bit of leaks going into this. So if you did read the leaks, you knew that Piccolo and Gohan were getting their new forms. So that was the whole draw of this. It's like, oh, this is their film. They're getting their own forms, never before seen before. We're gonna see what they are and how they work. So Gamma 2 is fighting Piccolo, and during the movie, there's a bit where he goes and gets the Dragon Balls, and he awakens his potential, he unlocks his potential. And through the Dragon's wish, he gives it to him. He's like, yeah, here's your wish, make you stronger. There's only a little bit in there, though. I didn't give you much because you didn't have much to work with. You're pretty much at your peak already. But it's enough for him to get a new form. And Orange Piccolo comes out. This is comes about because he's getting his ass beat, basically. And the Dragon's like, oh, okay. You need to push it. Now's the time, basically. So he powers up and he becomes Orange Piccolo. Orange Piccolo is the name he picks because they asked him, hey, what do you call his new form? He says, Orange Piccolo. Not a big fan of the name, but whatever. Anyway, we see a new Piccolo. He's bigger, he's more buff, he has like a Chad jawline, it's like super chiseled, and he looks a lot more evil. which is cool, but also like, whoa, he looks evil. That's different. But it kind of works with Piccolo being like a passive, being like a Demon King and all this, so it kind of fits with him. But yeah, this Piccolo is much more bulked out. He's strong. So he starts beating Gamma. Oh, actually, no, he one-hits Gamma, and Gamma 2 just falls after getting fucking haymakered. I like that they gave Piccolo something to work with, something that wasn't just like, oh, we made you, I don't know, greener, or made you get like, expand your body and get big like he did before. They gave him something new to work with. I don't think they're ever gonna make Piccolo, because he's not that type of character, but I don't think they're ever gonna make Piccolo like stronger than any of like the main Z fighters, which kind of sucks. That's the thing about Dragon Ball Z. It's like, if you're not Goku, you're not really gonna be stronger than anybody. You can get close, but as soon as you get close, Goku's just gonna find a new form and he's stronger than you. So for being Piccolo and the form that they gave him, I think it worked. Then we have, on the other hand, Gohan, we get his new form in here. So after everybody fights, whatever, they find out, hey, Gamma 1, Gamma 2, you guys are working for the bad guy because they kidnapped my daughter. Who does that? That's not very hero-y. And they start questioning. They're like, you know what? That is pretty fucked up. It's Magenta's fault. He brainwashed Hedo to make him do this plan, basically. So they switch on them. They stop fighting Gohan and Piccolo, and they're like, hey, let's work together. And obviously Magenta seeing this is like, hey, that's not cool. Let me run away and launch my big plan. And the big plan of the film is that Hedo's been, while he worked on Gamma 1 and Gamma 2, he's been reviving Cell. They had some sort of cells from Cell, and they've been making a new Cell, and it's way bigger and he's gonna be super strong, but it's not ready, much like most films are, where they have a big bad guy. He's not ready. The power is too strong. He won't have any control. So once he gets betrayed by Gamma 1, Gamma 2, and Hedo, Magenta's like, okay, I'm gonna go wake him up, because you know what? It's time. Goes, boom, wakes him up. Here comes the boss of the film, Max Cell. And he's Max, he's giant. He's probably like, what, 40 feet tall? He's huge. And it's, I don't know if I liked his design a lot, because Cell, Perfect Cell at least, is such a cool design. He's cool little spikes he's got going on, cool color scheme, the wings, the beetle aesthetic. I enjoy Cell as a villain a lot. But with this one, they kind of kept his second form Cell face, basically, and just made him a big, hulking. He kind of reminded me of Green Goblin from Into the Spider-Verse. If you've seen that, that's pretty much the same thing, because he flies like him. They're both big for no reason, and they gave him a big-ass tail. Then that tail has like a mace on the end of it. So that's Cell Max's design. Didn't really work for me, but I get it. The boss of this film was pretty much a raid battle, right? So he's a big, giant thing. He gets woken up and everyone's like, oh shit, this dude's strong. We need help. And here comes Bulma to save the day. She brings Goten and Trunks. I always forget their names. Brings Goten and Trunks, and we see them finally. They're, I guess, approaching teenagership. Their teenage era? I don't know. They're teenagers now. They're way taller than what we've seen them last. Before they were children. And even Gohan is like, hey, I don't know what to tell you. Saiyans, we stay little for a little bit, and then we hit a growth spurt, and we're tall all of a sudden. So that was their, I guess, excuse of saying why they're so tall now. So yeah, Trunks looks sick. He has drip. He has like a purple puffer vest, basically, puffer jacket. Goten, he looks kind of just like Bruce Lee. He's wearing traditional, like, Chinese, like, I don't know what to call it. He's wearing, you know, the suit, pretty much. You know what I'm talking about. I'll put it on the screen, you'll see it. So anyway, we get Goten and Trunks, and we also get Krillin. My favorite, Krillin. He's wearing his police uniform, and we get Android 18. So that's the help. That's all the help we got on the planet. We got them, plus Gohan and Piccolo. And together, they have to find a way to beat Max Cell. He's huge, so they're all working together, beating its ass, and then Gamma 1, Gamma 2 help out. It feels like a big raid battle. Everyone's doing their own thing. We see Goten and Trunks fuse. Finally, we get to see that in the Super universe. We haven't gotten that since the Buu saga, I believe. Yeah, Buu saga. So we get to see them finally fuse, but unfortunately they haven't been practicing. So we get Fat Gotenks. He was cool. Doesn't do much. He just kind of was comedic relief. That's probably the one thing that got a little old after a while, I guess. Out of all the comedy in the film, was just having Gotenks be fat, and that's the joke, and his ass is out. That didn't work for me. You see my boy Gamma 2, he's like, hey, listen, there's only one weak spot on this big old Max Cell on top of his head. We gotta crack that. If we can crack that, shuts him down, then there's a big explosion, he dies. So they're all working together to try to crack it. They can't, they're not strong enough. So Gamma 2 is like, hey, watch this shit. I'm gonna go up in the sky, and when I come back down, you guys better be out of here because he's gonna explode. Plan doesn't go according to plan. He sacrifices himself for nothing. He pretty much just takes off Cell's arm, and they're like, oh shit, that didn't work. So they start fighting, keep going at it. This is where we get, I mentioned earlier, we got Piccolo's form, Orange Piccolo, and this is where we finally get Gohan's new form. Now, Gohan's new form doesn't have an official name yet, but the rumors are basically that he is Beast Gohan from the original Akira Toriyama's drawings of Saiyans. They were known as Beast and look a little bit more menacing. So that's the name that we're giving him, but in the Mexican culture, Latinos, we call him Gohan Blanco, because white-haired Gohan. It's a whole thing, look it up, it became like a meme, kind of like when you Google Super Saiyan 5, that's what the images you would get, that's Gohan Blanco. So Gohan Blanco, aka Beast Gohan. He finally makes his appearance because Piccolo pushes him, he's like, hey, you need to turn right now and unlock all your potential and become the strongest in the universe, because we're not going to survive this. So he finally does. Boom! This is where the animation kicks in overdrive. We see red and white and purple and just all this energy flowing around Gohan, and his eyes start to swirl, they become red, and his hair gets white and it gets like super duper long. He reminds me of the kids next door when number 4 goes Super Saiyan in the tournament. That's what it looks like. It looks a little bit more serious, is mean. Oh, we get to hear Gohan's Super Saiyan voice. You know how they always change their voices every time they go like a higher number. Gohan just become just stone-faced, like, huh, cool. Like he's super confident. He's not like, oh, I'm Gohan, I study. He's more like, oh, that's all you got? Watch this. He becomes cool. So I did enjoy that. So yeah, budget kicks up. We get a transformation finally. Everyone's in the theaters losing their shit. They're like, oh shit, it's Gohan. He's sick. And pretty much just he solos him at that point. Max Zell tries to beat him up. Can't do nothing to Gohan Blanco. He's too strong. And he ends up, with the help of Piccolo, blowing his head up by doing, guess what? Not the Kamehameha. The special beam cannon. That's right. He says he's been working on it in secret his own time to kind of honor Piccolo, I guess. He does his own version of the special beam cannon. Boom, headshot, clears him, goes all the way out until like we get a cool shot of like the Earth. It shoots out like a big old beam of light. So yeah, special beam cannon does its thing, takes down Max Cell, and then we get the big explosion that happens with Cell all the time. He explodes for some reason. That's his whole thing. He just wants to bust. Everyone gets out of there. They're fine. Da 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 da. Cool, cool, cool. We save the day. So yeah, that's Dragon Ball Super Superhero. That was the entire plot. I just pretty much ran you guys through. So this movie altogether for me, I give it out of, let's say 10, probably like a 9. This is surprisingly really good. And I'm not the biggest Dragon Ball Z fan. I do enjoy it just like everyone else. We kind of like was the gateway anime that got everybody into it, and it just like it's paved the way for so many things like forms and power changes and like characters who are super strong. It's done so much for the community. I understand that, but yeah, never was like the biggest fan of it. I'm just like, yeah, it's cool, it exists. But this movie itself, it was really good. I enjoy the Piccolo and Gohan getting more of a shine, and more so Piccolo getting more shine, because he kind of gets pushed to the back burner a lot of the times because he's not as strong as everybody else. He's just kind of like he was my mentor at one point. He's not that anymore, but hey, it's Piccolo. He's cool. Yeah, I think they handled Piccolo really well in this movie. They handled him with care. They didn't disrespect him. They were like, hey, we know that there is a fandom for Piccolo, and let's give him a new form. Let's give him more of the mentorship role that we're used to seeing him in. Let's get him be the main pushing force to push Gohan, and continues to push anyone who's around him basically to become stronger than what they are. And even himself, he got his own new form, and it helped grow him. He's stronger now, and he's cool again. So it's nice to have Piccolo love, because we don't get that often. And then the Gohan thing, like I said earlier, people were like, oh man, he's nerdy, he's not cool anymore. And that they kind of like, seems like the writers know that. They kind of leaned into that. They're like, oh, Gohan's back and all this stuff. So they gave him a new form for him to just maintain that, because it's always been like, oh, Gohan has the potential. So now that he's reached this new beast form, Gohan Blanco form, it's like, oh, don't fuck with him, because he still is like, he has his own like his own power that you can't see, you can't beat. Like Mystic, that was his own thing. Now we have Gohan Blanco, it's his own thing. Nobody has, I guess if you want to count Ultra Instinct, but nobody has like pure white hair and those red pupils, and he just like seems like pure power. Pure power. It hasn't. I don't know if they're gonna keep it around, if they're gonna just do like a one-off thing, like, oh yeah, you did that one time, that was cool, can you do it again? No, it was only that one-time thing. I would like if they kept it around, because I do think that Gohan deserves some sort of love throughout the years. I do see the potential in having Gohan still be like the successor from Goku. Like he needs to, you're the firstborn, so you gotta be the one to continue it. And yeah, this movie is just, it was a lot of fun. A lot of heart into it. It doesn't seem like it's a cash grab like some films who just do their own thing. I like the fact that it is going to reside, I believe, in the canon, just like Broly did. We have Broly still in the universe as we, had him in this movie. So it's cool that we're getting movies that stick within the canon. Not like the old Dragon Ball movies where, they're not officially canon, so that never really happened. This happened, as far as I know, and it's going to stay and have some sort of effect on the rest of the story. I recommend it. Go watch it. I watched it twice. That's how much I liked it. So yes, Dragon Ball Super Superheroes. Check it out. It's a good movie.